Tonight on First at 9, this Wednesday, the 24th of April 2024. Development. Oya multi-purpose development project officially vested in the public by President of Iran and Sri Lanka. President Ranil Wickremesinghe calls for further collaborations.
So what is common with us, we should strengthen. We are all countries that belong to the South.
Court ban. Colombo District Court issues injunction order barring Vijayadasa Rajapaksa from functioning as acting chairman of the SLFP. Presidential polls. I will contest in the presidential election, affirms opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. Promises justice to the victims of the Easter attack.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දිනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9 with Indivari Amuata and Mahish Johnny. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
A very good evening, everyone. Hello. Welcome to First at 9. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us again as well. You almost didn't make it.
Yes, it was chock-a-block, terrible traffic, and I heard it's because the Iranian President is in Sri Lanka and a special traffic plan has been
on top of
made.
That rain.
Yes, and the rain too, but it has begun to rain. But I think it's owing to the special traffic plan in place. Not complaining, but I think a lot of people were inconvenienced. I would have if I missed it.
We heard a lot of information that was coming to the newsroom that apparently people were not aware of this traffic plan. Suddenly this was in place, and also today is a work day, and 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, the rush hour to the brim, and you take one of the key areas that the traffic flows and stops it. Well, that kind of brought some kind of disgruntledness among the public. But then again,
but I wish the same kind of opposition is expressed when protests are held in the midst of school hours, peak hours and work hours. Of course, the Iranian President is in Sri Lanka only for less than 24 hours.
I think about to leave. It's almost 9:03. His flight is to take off around at 9:30. But if he's flying Sri Lankan, then maybe late.
He will make it on time.
Lots more, lot of stories to bring it to you tonight. We have the biggest story today. It's about the Oya project that is bringing in a lot of megawatts to our national grid, which we really badly need since 2022. So this is basically beginning now. The Oya multi-purpose development project funded by the Iranian government was inaugurated by President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Iranian President Dr. Ibrahim Raisi today.
The project aims to add 120 megawatts to the national grid, supply water to 15,000 acres of paddy fields during both the Yala and Maha seasons, and provide a sustainable solution to the drinking water needs of the Badulla, Munaragala and Bandarawala areas of Sri Lanka.
Now, the $514 million irrigation and hydropower project was designed and built by Iran's Farab Engineering Group.
Addressing the ceremony today, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said the Oya project strengthens the outlook of South Asian countries and intends to establish a unique identity and independence in the world.
Iranian President Dr. Ibrahim Raisi arrived at Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport in the morning hours today for a one-day visit at the invitation of President Ranil Wickremesinghe to participate in the ceremony to mark the inauguration of the Oya Multipurpose Development Project. The visiting president was welcomed by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena.
During tough times, not since birth, but even since the 5th century. So we thank you for joining us here in our country.
Shortly after his arrival, President Raisi participated in the public ceremony marking the inauguration of the Oya Multipurpose Development Project. The project aims to alleviate water scarcity in the southeastern dry region of the country by redirecting an annual average of 145 million cubic meters of excess water from the Oya Basin to the Kirindi-Oya Basin. The project includes the construction of 2 dams across Oya and a tributary at Valimada, a trans-basin diversion tunnel and an underground hydropower plant with a 120 megawatt installed capacity. In addition, the Oya Multipurpose Development Project is also expected to supply water to 15,000 acres of paddy fields during both Yala Yala and Maha seasons and provide a sustainable solution to the drinking water needs of the Badulla, Monaragala and Banda Araval areas.
We thank Iran and its people for giving us the technical and financial assistance for this project. And we also can't forget the people in the Badulla district who made various sacrifices during the construction process of this project.
The Umayyad Multipurpose Development Project built by the Iranian Farab Energy and Water Projects is now ready for operations with the cooperation of experts from the two countries. This project was designed and implemented with a special objective, including the production of 120 megawatts of electricity, the construction of 2 dams with the use of 2 water transmissions, the supply of drinking water for parts of the population, and the supply of water for 5,000 hectares of agricultural land. During the construction of these dams and power plants, job opportunities were created for around 1,700 Sri Lankans. It also achieved a special record in the field of tunnel digging, installing a deep power plant at 750 meters deep in the land, installing a 680-meter shaft, and constructing a vertical tunnel to direct water under turbines. If not the first in the entire world in the technical arena, this will be one of the world's most prominent projects.
Thank you, Mr. President, for accepting the invitation.
On one side, we are bringing the irrigation system. On the other side, we also aim to implement investor zones in the Hambantota district and open more industries. Also, this project brings great relief to the Ministry of Finance and Power. With this, another 120 megawatts is being added to the grid. We did this project together as 2 developing countries in Southeast Asia. Therefore, by making more close connections with the Iranian government, let's move forward. I thank God and everyone here for giving us the opportunity to join with you in this moment. This is a great honor and a symbol of our nation's relationship. As we assisted in this project, Iran is also ready to provide any further support for the continuation of the operations. With the support of both countries toward one another, we will be able to create a better future for our nations.
Zindabad Iran, Zindabad Sri Lanka.
මිත්‍රත්වයේ ප්‍රතිඵලයක් විදිහටයි ඔමාඔය බහුකාර්ය සංවර්ධන යෝජනා ක්‍රමය වෙනුවෙන් අවශ්‍ය ශක්තිය ඉරානයෙන් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට ලැබුණා.
Following the inauguration of the Umayyad Multipurpose Development Project, President Dr. Ibrahim Raisi called on President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Presidential Secretariat this evening.
Now, the President of the Islamic Republic of Iran was ceremonially welcomed along with a guard of honor and other pageantry. Now, at the occasion, the Iranian President inked 5 memorandum of understanding aimed at strengthening bilateral relations between the two nations.
The MOUs include cooperation between National Library of Iran and Sri Lanka in the field of the film industries and between cooperative chambers of the two countries. Additionally, the President of Iran and President Ranil Wickremesinghe held one-on-one discussions followed by a bilateral meeting between representatives of both nations.
Now, the Iranian President and his delegation is scheduled to depart Sri Lanka later tonight.
New Dulux Pentolite Hygiene Plus. Refreshing walls for generations.
Dulux. ජීවිතේ හැම තැනකදීම ස්මාර්ට් වෙන්න. පොලිය විතරක් ගෙවාගෙන යන්න. CDB Smart Draft.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said in Parliament that he will contest the presidential election and will serve justice to the victims of the Easter Sunday attacks following his election to office. He made these comments while addressing the debate on Easter Sunday attacks in Parliament earlier today. Meanwhile, parliamentarian of the Sri Lanka Pudujana Peramuna, Samanpriya Herath, alleged that the opposition leader's comments are aimed at garnering support of the Cardinal to win the next presidential election.
It has been 5 years since the Easter Sunday attacks. Although Harin and his team were identified, the question we raise with the government is whether there is a mastermind behind these attacks.
We continuously heard the name Sonic in this parliament for some time. It was Harin Fernando who initially said that while clad in a black shawl. He said that he will not remove the black shawl until justice is served to the Easter attack victims.
Information was provided with regard to a recent statement by former President Maithripala Sirisena. The police said that they will inform the Attorney Attorney General once the investigations are over. If there is more information available, it needs to be investigated. No one can say there is no way of conducting an investigation.
කවුරුත් කාටවත් කියන්න බෑ ඒ පිළිබඳව පරීක්ෂණ විමර්ශන කටයුතු නොකළ යුතුයි කියලා. සමහරු කියනවා මේ මම ජනාධිපතිවරණයට එන්නේ නැහැ. මං කියන මං ජනාධිපතිවරණ ඉදිරිපත්.
Some people say that I will not contest the presidential election. I must say I will contest. I do not know whether there is a plan against me. Keep in mind that I am not afraid of death. There were attempts to kill me at the golf face during the struggle. I was not afraid. My father sacrificed his life on the road. Just as the incumbent president and the former presidents did, do not try to strike deals with Sajith Premadasa. My deal is with the victims of the Easter Sunday attack and the Cardinal. However, before justice is served by us, steps will be taken by some other groups to prevent it. We will not prevent the truth from being revealed. We will not lie to the people. We will arrest the masterminds behind the Easter Sunday attack and bring them before the law. We will ensure that they are subjected to maximum punishment.
අපි පස්ස බලන්න කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා. ගරු විපක්ෂ නායකතුමා කිව්වා මේ පිළිබඳව
The opposition leader said that he would serve justice to the victims. Be it the opposition leader or anyone else, I am ready to support any person making efforts to reveal the truth.
සහයෝගය තියෙනවායි කියලා මම මේ අවස්ථාවේදී සඳහන් කරනවා. අපේ විපක්ෂ නායකතුමාට ඕනලා තියෙන ඊළඟ ජනාධිපතිතුමනි ජයග්‍රහණය කරන්න නම්
In order to claim victory in the presidential election, the opposition leader needs support of the Cardinal. That is the story in simple terms. In order to do that, does he have to mislead an entire community by spreading lies? It is Sajith Premadasa, the Cardinal and the Catholic parliamentarians who are preventing justice from being served.
ඒක කියන්න ඕනේ අපි. මේ කතෝලික මන්ත්‍රීතුමන්ලයි.
Well, the Colombo District Court temporarily barred Minister of Justice Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa from functioning as the acting chairman of Sri Lanka Freedom Party via an interim injunction until the 8th of May.
A similar order was issued against Dushmantha Mitrapala from functioning as the party's acting general secretary.
Now, in a separate case today, another injunction order was issued against former President Maithripala Sirisena from functioning as chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party.
The injunction, which was issued following the consideration of a case filed by SLFP Executive Committee member Montaki Sarachandra in 2022, will be in effect until the conclusion of the case.
On Sunday, the group supporting former President Maithripala Sirisena, who was suspended from functioning as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, held a party meeting and appointed Minister of Justice Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa as the SLFP acting chairman. This development came at a time when Minister of Ports, Shipping and Aviation Nimal Siripala De Silva was functioning as acting chairman of the party, an appointment made during a Politburo meeting held under the patronage of SLFP senior advisor, former President Chandrika Kumaratunga. However, Minister of Agriculture Mahinda Amaravira, Parliamentarian Duminda Disanayaka and State Minister of Transport Lasantha Alagiwanna filed a case against Vijayadasa's appointment as the acting party chairman before the Colombo District Court. The case was taken up for hearing this morning. While highlighting that the appointment of Dushmantha Mitrapala as the acting general secretary of the party was against the constitution, President's counsel Chandaka Jayasundara, who appeared on behalf of the plaintiffs, said Mitrapala has no legal right to convene an executive committee meeting. He also pointed out that Minister of Justice Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa cannot hold the membership of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party on the basis that he currently holds a membership at Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. After considering the facts presented, the Colombo District Court issued an interim injunction against Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa and Dushmantha Mitrapala from functioning as SLFP's acting chairman and acting general secretary respectively until the 8th of May. Meanwhile, in a separate case, the Colombo District Court issued another interim injunction against former President Maithripala Sirisena from functioning as the chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The injunction, which was issued following the consideration of a case filed by SLFP Executive Committee member Montiku Sarachandra in 2022, will be in effect until the conclusion of the case. Through the case, the plaintiff pointed out that the functioning of the former president as the SLFP chairman even after the conclusion of his tenure as the country's president in 2019 is against the party's constitution. He added that the SLFP constitution clearly states that any party chairman who is elected or appointed as the president of the country automatically becomes the party's senior advisor following the conclusion of his or her tenure as the head of state. Meanwhile, in another case at the Colombo District Court, an order was given to extend the interim injunction issued to prevent the implementation of the decision to remove Minister Mahinda Amaravira, State Minister Lasantha Alagiwanna and Member of Parliament Duminda Disanayaka from their positions in the Sri Lanka Freedom Party until the 8th of May.
Meanwhile, a discussion was held between President Ranil Wickremesinghe and founder of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Basil Rajapaksa, last evening. During the meeting, the two parties agreed to not debate on the presidential candidacy until an election is called in accordance with the Constitution. They have also agreed upon proceeding with the aim of overcoming common challenges faced by both parties. Discussions also focused on creating an opportunity for former local government representatives to engage in public affairs of the government. Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa, who is currently serving as the Minister of Justice in the cabinet, becoming a potential candidate of the presidential election from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, was also discussed during the meeting. Responding to this point of discussion, Basa Rajapaksa had stated that his party held discussions pertaining to Dr. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa.
Now, the two drivers of the race cars involved in a fatal crash during the Fox Hills Supercross 2024 Motorsports Racing Championship at Diatalava have been granted bail by the Bandarwala Magistrates Court.
The two drivers in question were arrested on Monday while receiving treatment in hospital following the accident. The duo were remanded until the 30th of April on the orders of the Bandarwala Magistrates Court.
As many as 7 people, including an 8-year-old girl, lost their lives and more than 23 were injured on Sunday after a car lost control, veered off the track during the race and collided with a group of spectators. The deceased were identified as 4 officials of the event and 3 spectators. Well, the remains of the General Manager of Sri Lanka Railways, HMKW Bandara, who was passed away yesterday, were brought to the Sri Lanka Railways headquarters today. According to hospital sources, he succumbed to his illness while being pushed to the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital last morning. And for more updates, let's take a look at other local news around the island in brief.
Actress Damita Beratna and her husband, who were wanted by the CID in connection with their involvement in an alleged money scam by defrauding 3 million rupees on the promise of employment in South Korea, were granted bail today. Bail was granted to the duo on the orders of the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court, and the couple were released on surety bonds of 5 million rupees each. The actress and her spouse were arrested on the 4th of April after they appeared before the court and were kept in remand custody. A 3-wheeler driver who is believed to be the main suspect engaged in the distribution of narcotic substances supplied by a large-scale Sri Lankan drug dealer, Ruben, who is currently hiding in Dubai, was taken into police custody. The suspect was arrested by the Colombo Crimes Division while having a consignment of crystal methamphetamine worth 8 million rupees in possession. In other local news, the Beruala police arrested 11 persons with crystal methamphetamine in possession in Vettimarajapura, Beruala. It is reported that an individual engaged in drug trafficking under the alias Vettimarajapura Rias is among the arrestees.
Business news now. Sri Lanka has granted approval to Mahan Air, a privately owned Iranian airline, to operate to the country. Now, the approval to operate comes on the sidelines of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi's visit to Sri Lanka. In 2022, Iran was placed 27th among countries with the highest number of international tourist arrival to Sri Lanka. By June of 2023, Sri Lanka had welcomed 5,973 Iranian tourists. The President's office said in a communique that Sri Lanka aims to attract more tourists from Iran and enhance aviation cooperation with the Middle East nation with the latest move.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siambalapitiya said 112 vehicles imported into Sri Lanka through illegal methods have been seized by the Commission to detect and investigate allegations of bribery or corruption. The minister mentioned that the value of the illegally imported cars exceed 7 billion rupees. According to the minister, the vehicles have been imported between years 2015 and 2022 through various illegal methods, and added that these vehicles are to be confiscated from those who are currently using them. The State Minister of Finance, Ranjit Siambalapitiya, meanwhile stated that it is the responsibility of those who bought them or the buying parties to find out whether the vehicles have been imported through proper channels. The Colombo Bourse began the day on a bullish note driven by enthusiastic participation from retail investors, resulting in the market reaching an intraday high of 12,050 before closing at 11,905, marking a gain of 77 points.
And despite the prevailing uncertainties, trading activities showed signs of recovery on the second trading day of the week, with increased interest observed on the index heavyweights such as Haley's and LOLC, whilst improved activities were also seen on the mid-cap entities such as Brown's Investments and Cargill's.
However, slight selling pressure continued to be visible on the banking sector shares, notably on Sampath, NTB and NDB. Daily turnover slightly increased to 2.5 billion rupees, up 7.9% from the monthly average of 2.3 billion. The food, beverage and tobacco sector led turnover at 27%, while diversified financials and capital goods sector jointly contributed 37% to turnover. Foreign investors turned net sellers with net outflow of 5.7 million rupees.
Well, here's Minal Wickremagey from Capital Alliance with some thoughts on the current status of the economy in the next segment, Economic Outlook.
Crude oil prices experienced significant volatility during the week, and initially prices rose due to concerns about potential disruptions in the Middle East. However, they later declined amid worries about global demand, fueled by sluggish economic growth in China and diminishing expectations for US interest rate cuts. The weekly average weighted prime lending rate, or the WPLR, for the week ending April 19, 2024 decreased by 22 basis points to 10.41% compared to the previous week. This decline may impact borrowing costs and economic activity. Market liquidity decreased slightly, 43.03 billion by April 19th from 49.8 billion the previous week. In the stock market, both the all-share price index, or the ASPI, and the S&P SL20 index experienced declines. The ASPI dropped by 2.33% to 11,753 points, while the S&P SL20 index fell by 3.45% to 3,449 points compared to the previous week. Looking at the Treasury bill auction, which was held today, the weighted average yield fell across all tenors, with the 3-month Treasury bill rate dropping by 13 basis points, the 6-month bill dropping by 15 basis points, and the 12-month bill falling 2 basis points.
That's First at 9 for this Wednesday night. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mahesh Johnny.
And I'm Indivari Amwath. Have a pleasant evening. Good night.